Ladies and gentlemen, it has been fixed. The worst car in my collection has now been fixed. I know it's hard to believe that it's possible to fix this ugly car, and I know many of you were very angry with me with my review of the GT3RS, labeling it not only ugly in the sense that it doesn't have any carbon anywhere and it just doesn't come that way, like none of these plastic options available as carbon. Not only has a tanking value in the sense that it's well over sticker and certainly not worth that, but I've been able to fix a few of the things that really made this car unbearable. And so today I'm going to walk you through what you need to do if you, like me, believe that this is somewhat of a good looking car. It just needs a couple of tweaks. And so I've come to the realization that there are some things worth doing, others not doing, based on the fact that I care about car values and what they get us. So first off, let's clarify a few things. None of these plastic pieces on this car are available from Porsche as a carbon alternative or even a painted alternative unless you go through their special program. Now, let me clarify a couple of brief things here. This is a YSAC car. This is one of the highest MSRP car without being some special paint car, etc. But yet it has all the options, the YSAC, the colored magnesiums, all the premium options inside, and so on and so forth. If you haven't checked out my GT3RS review, please go and follow the link in the description. It will take you to my past review. It is brutal. I'm not a fan of this car at all. It drives sluggishly from 0 to 4,000 RPMs, sluggishly, making it impossible to enjoy on the street. It sounded like total crap, which we're going to talk about today, and the interior was dull and plasticky. As a matter of fact, the seat cushions were so plastic and terrible that not only were they uncomfortable, they were just pure ugly and felt cheap. However, there are things you can do to a GT3RS to really bring out its beauty. So first off, what you can do with all this plastic, you have two options. You can go to 9 Design and pay 50 grand and basically get every piece of plastic on this car replaced by carbon fiber. They do a really good job. Things fit well. It takes a little bit of time to install it, but I think would be worth it if you wanted to keep this. Secondly, what you can do if you choose not to spend $50,000 is spend roughly $10,000 and give you the next best option. You take all these plastic pieces out by a qualified shop and paint them gloss black. Now, that may sound like, well, why would I do that? I'll tell you, because if you paint them gloss black, what's going to happen is it's going to give the car a much stronger and more real, like, street look. And I think that will make a drastic difference. No different than the Lamborghini STO that has all black pieces painted black and carbon fiber everywhere. It would basically give you a resemblance of that, getting some black pieces, some carbon pieces, and all coming together as a beautiful piece of art, like cars should be, and this just isn't. Now, let's talk about some of the things we did do. We lowered the factory suspension a little bit for a more aggressive look. That's free. Now, some of the cute little things we've done to really enhance the car is the interior. I felt was absolutely hideous. All 992s have this giant thing in the back when they don't have seats, which looks very ugly. In this case, we fitted a BBI cage and we powder coated it the same Puro red as the wheels, giving it a perfect look. Now on the inside, I did these P1 design inserts specifically in red, gray, and white to match the seat belts with the silver, like right there, with some components to break it that's a little bit whitish, and then of course the gray to match the car, and then the red to add to the accents. This little nuance already, I can tell you, getting in the car gives you a much richer feel for the car, bringing back some of the heritage and giving you a beautiful design. As you look here, you now look like a proper, exciting, expensive race car, like a Senna. It still doesn't take away that every time you open this door, you have to stare at this ugly piece of plastic at the bottom, these ugly plastic vents that make you want to puke, but nonetheless, at least the interior is somewhat fixed. The biggest fix, though, in this was not the interior or anything else, but rather the noise. I argued this is one of the worst sounding cars of all time, unless you're going 9,000 RPMs, and so we fixed that. We went to our friends at Valvetronic, we asked them for a header system, we asked them for a titanium exhaust, and now we have a very good sounding car during all RPMs. And this is the closed valves. We're gonna go to open valves and immediately. And then quiet, and then back open. In my opinion, a fantastic exhaust, and here's a clip of what it sounds under full throttle. There you have it. This is probably the best sounding exhaust. Now, as far as my thoughts on the actual exhaust itself, I'm not a big fan of their tip structures, but generally speaking, I had them do a set for me on the 992 GT3 Touring, came out spectacular. I told them to basically make this the prototype for the GT3RS kit, and it sounds absolutely amazing, which tells me that the car has a lot of potential and could be great. Now, part of the reason why I've decided not to keep this car is because I don't want to void its warranty by tuning it. And so therefore I decided that I would go ahead and remove the header system, keep the exhaust, which obviously is not going to make it loud enough for me to enjoy it on the street. And generally speaking, the argument is not that you would not enjoy a GT3RS from a 992 generation. My argument has always been that the 991.2 GT2RS Y-Sock with a lot of options and cool upgrades is a better car by far for the street than the new GT3RS. While it doesn't have active aero, while it doesn't look dramatically as crazy on the back end, I think it's classier, I think it's prettier, the interface is fantastic, the interior is just as good, not as good as 992, but nonetheless just as usable, very friendly, very pretty, very well put together, and something that again on the GT3RS you're going to get because it's newer, but that car is appreciating, this one is depreciating. There is more GT3RSs than there are GT2RSs, and so again the argument continues to haunt us. When will Porsche start listening and giving a shit to putting out a higher quality product, not just ripping off its customers by charging $100,000 more, by making it impossible to get by the majority of people who can afford to buy it and actually enjoy it. So the point was, again, in my personal collection, in my opinion here, this is the worst car in this collection and the one that has to go. There's going to be a lot more cars coming in this year that I'm excited to share with you, but this one unfortunately is not going to have a place here. It is currently for sale if you're looking for super loaded, super sick Arctic Gray GT3RS and are willing to live with this plastic stuff as acceptable, which I'm not. Some people are saying I'm too OCD and I should, you know, just get out of the game of cars because if I can't stand plastic, I don't know what kind of jerk off sitting at home has an opinion when they don't even have one of these. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is that this is horrendous. It's incredibly slow, 0 to 4,000 RPMs, but it's pretty glorious past that. And I will give it credit, like I did in my first review. 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, taking a turnpike turn, exit ramp turn, zero skid. I mean, this thing is planted. So kudos for what that wing does or whatever it's supposed to do, but reality still is reality. It is a track car, it is meant to be driven on the street, and unfortunately, it won't be driven on my street. You know, everyone knows me as this car guy. I'm a big car collector, I love cars, and more importantly, they know me for making good decisions, gaining in and out of cars in order to maximize my return. But what if I told you that one of the ways I was able to buy all these cars has been by trading watches? But I'm not here to tell you about my other company, Watch Trading Academy. Instead, I'm here to tell you about a question I get asked at Watch Trading Academy a lot, which is, how do you sell watches confidently and more importantly in a safe manner online? Simply put, I use this company called Grailsy. It is a safe and very transparent way to sell a watch online. Not only do they handle the whole transaction from A to Z, but they make it safe for both the buyer and the seller, and because they really cater to real buyers and not just other watch traders, as a seller, you're always getting a great premium on a watch, especially when you're selling it. And as a buyer, you never know when you can find a great deal. So definitely check them out at grailsy.com. They're an incredible company and they've been the best place to safely buy and sell luxury watches.
Grailsy, buy and sell iconic timepieces.